Happy Monday, everybody. How you doing? How you feeling? Always great to see y'all. Chat always going hard before the show, per usual. Y'all already got y'all's own show going on. I'm just jumping in to be a part of it. Appreciate y'all. Do me a favor, hit that like button if you have not already done so. Consider subscribing to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the bell notification so that we pop up on your device when we go live. Greatly appreciate that. Also, for you folks who don't always do YouTube, Apple Podcasts, make sure you go there, save us there. For the non Apple folks like me, Spreaker.com is the platform of choice, I would say, for that, for the non Apple folks. So keep that in mind. So, listen, tonight on this Monday evening, we're going to be talking about top 5 storylines of spring football. All right. We're going to blink and it's going to be spring football. You know, it's almost March. And so more and more of the storylines will start to cook up. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight and some other things. But also remember, when you send those wonderful super chats, helps to go towards the Pay It Forward, which is our military and our first responders. We're going to look out for them because they always look out for us. Nevada Buck, welcome back, sir. Always great to have you back. How you feeling? How was DC?
Um, DC was a lot of fun. It was second biggest tournament of the year for the girls, short of USA Nationals, which is coming up here in the beginning of April. But they won. They won the Challenge Cup, and
Nice.
daughter had a shutout in the championship game, and they continue their winning ways. So well, life was good. But I got to be honest with you. I've only been to Washington D.C. one time before in my life, and it was when I was much younger. So it was literally like I'd been there for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is magnificent. It is really, really. I mean, it's absolutely worth the trip. We went to the Smithsonian Air and Flight Museum one day. We went to the Postal Museum the other day. Went to the Museum of American History, and just the stuff there is just crazy. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And the monument. I mean, I didn't even get to see probably 150th of what's there, but it's a magnificent city and absolutely a must do for anybody who hasn't been in a bit. It was really quite striking.
Yeah, no, you're just amping me up to go even more. It's on my list. I've never been. My wife's been twice, but she didn't get to see all the sites and all the museums. I want to go see the monument, the museums. I heard the DMV area has great food. You know, I'm a fat boy at heart, so I want to go, and we are going to go at some point. So I was definitely curious to see how DC was, and you just nonchalantly just have a beastie daughter who just keeps killing it, shut out. Like, oh yeah, ho hum, another shutout. That's just amazing to me. But congratulations to them, and great to have you back. Funky did a great job as usual yesterday, but we were all wondering how DC went, man. So that's good.
I went to the Postal Museum, and people think, "What do you go to the Postal Museum?" But I wanted to see they had there's like a famous stamp called the inverted Jenny, which is like a stamp that was printed with the plane on it upside down,
Yeah.
and like one of those I think sold for like $2 million or $4 million or something like that, in an auction,
Wow.
a few years ago. And they had a block of four of them like connected, like like in the stamp book, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there was like four of them. So you can imagine what that would be worth, because it'd be exponentially worth more than just one times four. You know what I'm saying? It was just amazing. You just see something like that, and it was just like, oh my god, that was one of the highlights of the trip. But even the Postal Museum has cool stuff. So lots and lots and lots to do. And thanks for the kind words on my daughter. Hopefully, if they get a national championship this year, then I'll definitely come in and brag. But they gotta get that. Got a gold medal. If she gets a gold medal and a national championship the same year,
Oof.
it will have been one heck of a year, man.
Oh,
One heck of a year.
amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
she can do it. I just Googled the stamp. It's from 1918, all the way back then. And I'm just reading up on it. Yeah, that's crazy. I never heard of it. And so, yeah, even stuff like that is amazing. But I heard the museums were just ridiculously nice and just mind blowing, some of them. So yeah, I cannot wait to go. But I did want to quickly catch you up on my weekend. So Nevada, I wanted to bring this up to you because I know you're a fellow parent who coached your sons and your daughter. So the Cheez-Its, we did not lose this weekend, but we did not win. We tied. In this league, there's no OT. Anyway, I had to sit my son because we had to tell him more than once to do his homework, to do his actual schoolwork. So he's just, like, no, like we had to sit him, like, you're not playing because suicides and running sprints to me after the first time of me telling you that is not going to suffice. And then on top of that, Nevada, there was a pizza party after the game. He missed that too. And
Oh
so
wow.
I told him, I said, I was disappointed. I was like, you're hurting yourself, you're hurting your team, and you're hurting me because I like coaching you. I enjoy coaching you. So, and then I told him to lay it on thicker. I said, you could have been the difference in the team winning. It was a tight game. You could have made a steal. You were defensive MVP last week, BJ. You could have made a shot that you know what I mean? I'm just trying to teach him
Yeah,
like
these are good lessons. Yeah, good
you
lessons.
have to, right, like we're not gonna we're gonna start this now. We're gonna lay the foundation now. But it was still hurtful as a parent. It's like, dang, like I want my son out there, but I'm not. I can't let it. So I thought about you because I know you have a lot of experience coaching your kids, and that whole challenge of following through with a
Yeah,
punishment, even though it's tough.
tell the truth. Were you like sad that you missed the pizza? Did you go to the pizza party, or did you go?
So I did not. I could have ate pizza, but me
Okay,
and the wife
okay,
had plans. So
okay.
what I was going to do is I was going to take him and either have the other coach, Coach Grinnell, drop him off or just stay for a little bit and eat. But I just went, showed up, team, hey, took some pictures, and then I banged out so we can do the Valentine's Day
Okay.
stuff. But I
Okay.
was
I
going to
just
eat
thought
pizza.
I thought you were just bitter about the pizza thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like that. I was like,
I would have been if I would have missed out on pizza because of him. Yeah, I would have been
exactly.
bitter. Like you tripping. But thankfully for him, it didn't work out that way. But hopefully he learned his lesson. He's the snow has melted, so he's been out there practicing and motivated. So get in them books and get
But
on that court.
I'll just share one little story, and then we'll get into the thing. We'll get into
All
the meat of the podcast. But with one of my kids was really acting up, like really acting up and really asking up for it. And one of our big things that we do is we went and got ice cream. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, hey, if you just keep on going, you're not going to get ice cream. And would not shut up. Just would not shut up. And so I said, okay. And we went and got ice cream and ate ice cream in front of them. And people thought that was like so mean. And I'm like, no, they learned, man. They learned.
That is not mean. That
That's
is
not me.
brilliant.
I'm telling you, B, it was really it was the most one of the most effective. Years later, I still hear about how the impact of that one. So that yeah, that and it was
I
hard.
like
It was
it.
hard. It was hard because you hate to do that to your kids,
Yeah.
but we ate everybody had ice cream except one child did not have ice cream. And
You got to tell me off the record after this pod which child it was.
I don't tell you which
But
child it was not. It's probably not who you think, but it was one
okay.
child. But it was one child
Okay.
did not get ice cream. Yes.
Either way, that's great stuff. I definitely it's hard lessons that to me those things are simpler, even though they sting now as a parent who loves your kid, than later down the line trying to
Yes.
deal with a monster that's been developed from being unchecked. But anyway, my son is a great kid. He's a great kid. He's just an ornery little boy like I was, who just needs to be disciplined. That's all. So sorry, didn't mean to start the whole podcast off with parenting 101, but we are real human beings with real lives. And so we're just sharing our thoughts. And speaking of real lives, shout out to Beth. I believe she's in the chat, was praying for you, thinking about you before the show, actually. I was going to ask about you. It looks like you're here. So hope you're feeling better. Beth has been a little sick. So we were thoughts and prayers for her. So wanted to let you know about that, Nevada. And so listen, we can get to the topic. We got a fun topic here, man. Because I've been thinking about this. The top 5 storylines of spring football. Okay. And we're gonna go in tandem and we're gonna give our thoughts on each one. And we're gonna start out with 5 and get up to number 1. Nevada, any thoughts before we dive in?
Well, no, I am telling you. I am so excited about spring. And when we were preparing for this topic, I was kind of going over some of the stuff, and I'm like, I was getting excited as I was reading about it, as I was preparing my lists and kind of going through it. I'm like, I'm so geeked about spring football, and I don't want to tip my hand in terms of the stuff that I'm geeked about. But man, there's a lot going on. Probably more so. I absolutely believe probably more so than any spring football in the history of Ohio State football. There's more going on. There's just more newness and new bodies and new things. I mean, there's a lot going on in spring football. And to your point, I mean, I don't know what the opening day, I have to check the opening days, but it's soon. It's like really soon. We're not far away from spring football at all. So, buckle the heck up because it's starting before you know it.
I'm actually going to Google if there's a start date yet for spring, but let's get into it. So listen, you guys in the chat, agree, disagree, debate. We could have, there were some interchangeable things here. This was a tough list for me because all of these are important to me. But we're going to start out with number 5, which is a tie. Number 5 is tied between the kickers and special teams and the running backs. Okay, as far as the top 5 storylines for spring. So Nevada, you want to start with this one, and I will follow up with my thoughts on this one: the running backs and the kickers and special teams units.
Well, the running backs was what makes this one so intriguing is the fact that you've got your two top returning guys and obviously Bo Jackson and Isaiah West that are both going to be out. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking about seeing guys that are up there, primarily Legend Bay, who's a guy, and Jacoby Jackson, the guy from Florida, who I think people are sleeping on. I think people have not really, really embraced how good that guy potentially is. Now maybe I'm overselling it. Maybe he'll turn out and he'll just be just a guy. But I've heard from enough people that are like, you know, the guy that might be the sleeper of the whole transfer portal class might be that Jackson running back from Florida because he's shown flashes of doing something. This is the first, interestingly enough, this is the first time he's completely healthy in multiple seasons. And the guys I've talked to at Ohio State are very interested to see what he's going to do at the running back position. But just with the opening at running back and with the new kids coming in, the transfer portal kids coming in, and just the complete lack of returning firepower there at the running back spot. That to me is very interesting. And then you flip to special team. The fact that we have a special teams coach for the first time in a long time. The fact that we've got
Yeah.
new place kickers, we're going to have a punting competition. We've got so many new kickers. I think they've got between walk-ons, preferred walk-ons, and scholarship kids. I think they've got like 7 new kickers coming in and a new long snapper. So, yeah, it was hard to get past the fact that the running back spot's going to be interesting. Legend Bay, I cannot wait to see Legend Bay and what they do with that kid. I hate to put the hype machine on anybody before they've even played it down at Ohio State, but man, I just have a feeling he's going to be something special. But lots to look forward to between special teams, kicking game, running backs. Definitely worthy of the number 5 storyline on our list.
Yeah, absolutely. Great points. And I'll say with the Jacoby Jackson, even someone like me who tries to, be analytical and sharp, and I kind of got lulled to sleep on him for a second too. Meaning, initially I was like, okay, well, he might be a depth piece, a guy just to get a body in here, not really doing research, not really, you know what I'm saying? And Dev kind of nudged me on, tapped me on the shoulder and provided some insight. And then I went back and watched him, and I was like, he's not bad. He's actually solid. He gets upfield, he gets north quick. He's not soft. He has good speed. And I'm just like, shoot, to me, he's he may be a little better than James Peoples. Like, if he just came in here just to be a little better than James Peoples, I think that's a solid back, because I think James Peoples was starting to come on a little bit. And so, yeah, I think Jackson can definitely be a guy to come and really help this team out, even if he's not Ezekiel Elliott. Now, with that said, I see some of the media that are kind of painting the picture of Bo Jackson and Isaiah West being out as a bad thing. Like, dang, like this really sucks. To me, I don't see it that way. Yes, they're gonna lose spring reps, but to me, it's a blessing in disguise because, like you said, Legend Bay, Jackson, those guys get reps. Turbo Rogers gets reps. Like to me, I trust Bo Jackson and Isaiah West. They've played in some big games, especially Bo Jackson. He was only a freshman, so I understand reps are needed, but we also saw him play really well against some really good teams. And so don't forget, just because he's not going to be able to hit with pads and stuff on because of the shoulder, he'll be able to go through mental reps. He'll be able to do walkthroughs. He'll be able to still run through with the offensive line and blocking and the plays. So it's not like he just can't do anything. But with that said, Turbo, Legend Bay, and Jackson getting in there and getting those reps in Nevada to me is I love that. It's a blessing in disguise to me. That's going to help build more depth. So to me, I see that as a plus and not a minus, even though I can understand people being upset about them being hurt. But go ahead and jump in before I touch on special teams.
Well, yeah, I didn't bring up Turbo, and that's absolutely an omission on my part. I'm excited to see Turbo Rogers. I am.
Yeah.
I was excited to see him last year, and was disappointed that the injuries kind of kept him from doing it. But I want to see what he can do because yeah, he's another guy that I'd heard positive buzz about the whole year. And they just you couldn't get him healthy enough to get him on the field. But he's gonna, him and Legend are gonna have to carry the load for most of the spring.
Yeah.
and and that's gonna be a something, man. I'm telling you guys, don't sleep on that. Keep an eye on that running back story because it's gonna be a big storyline all throughout the spring.
Yep. And like I said, I love that Legend Bay and Jackson and Turbo are going to have to step up and get reps with the first team. Like I love that because I trust Bo Jackson and Isaiah West to come in the summer whenever they're healed. Obviously, they're not going to be hitting in the summer, but summer going into fall camp, I trust them. But you got them boys getting them reps, getting even more experience and getting their feet, legs under them for the season. Oh yeah, I love that. Now with the special teams, I want to hear about some good competition. I know we brought in Hawkins from Baylor. I believe he's the clear number one, but just overall in general, I'm waiting. I'm gonna go to the practices. I'm gonna be, talking to folks. We all will. I'm looking forward to hearing some really good reports about special teams and the consistency of it and all of that. And so we've talked. Me and Nevada have gushed over how excited we are about the elevation of the special teams in this offseason. And so I don't want y'all to downplay it because it is massive for you folks out there that love or hate that word, Nevada. Anything else on that before we go to number 4?
Well, no, just having a special teams coach. I just want to see the impact or the lack of impact. Maybe we'll go. We don't really notice much of a difference in special teams, but maybe we will. And I think Ryan Day wants us to feel a difference. It's been a point of emphasis. It's been something that they've talked to a lot about the competition for playing time on special teams with the players. So I really want to see that. So I'm definitely excited about that. Want to see the impact of the new coach.
Definitely. And also, I found it. So, spring practice starts on, according to the Google machine, Tuesday, March 10th. It says the Ohio State spring football practice sessions are scheduled Tuesday, March 10th, leading up to the game on the 18th of April.
So
So,
we're
so
less than 30 days away then. I
yeah,
mean,
that's
basically
like
3 weeks. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
come on, it's crazy, man.
right. We're going. That's what I was saying earlier. We're going to hit March. We're going to blink, and it's going to be March, and it's going to be like, oh, spring ball starts in 10 days or in a week. So it's coming up, folks. It's coming up. So number four. All right. Now, when stars align, I see you said this in the chat. You are very prophetic. Sayings and next steps. Now, listen. This could have been number one. But we chose number 4 for this. Sayings next steps. Nevada, what you got on this, man, for the spring with Julian saying?
Well, I mean, it's a first of all, it's the last spring we're going to see Julian saying because he's going to be the number one pick in the draft next year, and so enjoy it. But the I think back on last year when at this point in time we had a quarterback controversy. There was a question of whether or not it was going to be Julian saying was going to be Lincoln. We told you there wasn't going to be a quarterback controversy, but that was the storyline. Julian had never started a game at Ohio State, come in, highly regarded, had never played in the college football season, and now Julian's, coming out. He's got 14 games under his belt. Um, he's played in big games. He's played Miami. He's played Indiana. He's played Texas. He's played, on the road at Michigan. I mean, he's done a lot of things already in his short career. Got a trip to New York for the Heisman ceremony. So, accomplished a whole heck of a lot. But where does he go next? Where does he go next with? You're down Carnell Tate, you're down Max Clare, but you've got a lot of other guys, a lot of other weapons returning, and now the guys are looking at you not like, hey, you're the precocious freshman. Hey, you're the guy that's never started before, but we have high hopes. Now you're like, you're a veteran. You're a returning guy. You're a team leader. You're a preseason betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy, to be a top 5 pick in the draft, and you've got to lead Ohio State on a team with a loaded team in 2026 through maybe the toughest schedule in school history. I think there's a lot of smart people that think that, especially when you add on top of this schedule already the Big Ten championship game, and then you know 3 or 4 playoff
Yeah.
games on top of that. I don't think there's any question this will be the toughest schedule in school history. Got to navigate it, and how do you navigate that with great quarterback play? So looking for Julian to take the next steps. Looking for Julian. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see Julian saying run in the spring, but you know what? Wouldn't hate it. Wouldn't hate to see him just start. You know what I'm saying? Just start. We're not. I'm not talking about hammering him into the ego. I don't understand this concept of, like, people are just so terrified of, like, oh, you can't get hurt. Like, think back in terms of all the quarterbacks, all the quarter. When's the last time there's been like a career-ending quarterback injury for a quarterback? I mean,
Great
I'm talking
point.
about in all of college. Like, can you think of it?
No, I was thinking Ohio State at first, but you said all of college football.
I mean, forget all I said. All of college football, and it's like, you know, I mean, you have to really
Yeah.
stretch to come up
No.
with one. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, what are we really afraid of? I mean, what are we talking about here? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he can run every now and then. It's okay. He's not made of glass. He can run. Um, but yeah, but his ascension, his emergence, his continued growth as a quarterback, so looking forward to seeing it, and especially in JJ's last year. I mean, JJ's last year. Let's enjoy this as well. The magic of Julian Sain and JJ Smith one more time in college football. I'm so looking forward to seeing what these guys have to offer us.
Definitely. And yes, Stilly, massively massive, 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 massive. It was funny yesterday, Nevada. We were talking about the haters who just get triggered over the word massive. It's hilarious. But that's another pod. But I wanted to appreciate his comment about massive. But yes, so what Julian's saying, absolutely looking forward to it. And look, I'm telling you, I'm confident, Nevada, and folks out there, that saying will be running. Like, he mentioned it in the presser in the last game. He mentioned, it was mentioned that Ryan Day said something about it. Arthur Smith's coming in. They can, when they self scout, they see it. It was said the last game they lost, the veteran Beck, in my opinion, that game, if you were to pick a few things, like what was the top reasons why Miami pulled out the win? Beck with his legs. Beck moving the chains with his legs. Literally were backbreakers at times. And he's not known as a running quarterback. So I think that message has resonated. And I believe we're going to see him taking off and running when necessary. Not Q draws and JT Barrett, but he will run. That is my prediction. I'm very confident in that. With that said, I also am looking forward to seeing another step from him just as a quarterback. He was already slicing and dicing and doing a great job. And don't forget, in those big games, he wasn't perfect. He made some mistakes, but he also made some great throws and he made some plays. We went back and looked at his stats, and Nevada made the fantastic point that a few things here and there go a different direction. Saying wins the Heisman. We all said before that game, Mendoza, whoever wins the game is going to win the Heisman. Not saying it's the right thing, but that's just how things are right now. So don't sleep on Julian saying. I know a lot of people have given up on him, Nevada. I talk to them and I see them and I hear them, and I'm just saying, pun intended. Go ahead, Nevada.
Well, the Mendoza stuff is just so funny because again, if you just took the names away from the players and just read the stats for player A and player B in the Big Ten championship game, you
Yeah,
know, like don't tell me that Fernando Mendoza outplayed Julian Sain because he didn't. They just we missed a 28-yard field goal. That's it. That's the end of the story. And and we slipped on a fourth and an inch on a quarterback sneak. But the idea that Fernando Mendoza somehow like outdueled Julian Sand or it was so obvious. Fernando Mendoza
right,
was he wasn't. He just simply wasn't. And I know people hate it when I pull out numbers like that, but just you can look for them for yourself. It's not. It's really
right.
not that complicated.
Definitely not. Mike Green, what's up, bro? I ain't seen you in the chat in a minute, man. What's good? We missed you. We missed you. Good to see you. But but yeah, amen to all of that. And I'm not going to preach for any longer about that. But Saying was really, really good this year. He's going to be better this year, especially with bringing Arthur Smith in and his insight and his NFL mind to combine forces with Ryan Day. And so I'm excited about it. Anything else before we move on to number 3?
Yeah, but no, let's go right into three because three is the portal players. And like
Yeah.
uh, I mean, when you start looking at the portal players and kind of go, okay, hey, we added some guys in the portal, and we talked about in 2024 when we added Will Howard and Caleb Downs and Seth McLaughlin and Quinn Chunja, all that stuff's great. Look, we added tight end Mason Williams, defensive tackle Johnny Walker, UTSA wide receiver Devin McCune, Wisconsin linebacker Christian Allegro, Florida State safety Earl Little, Duke safety Terry Moore, Northwestern tight end Hunter Welching, defensive end Qual Rashaw, defensive tackle James Smith, cornerback Cam Calhoun, Jacoby Jackson, Georgia cornerback Dominic Kelly, LSU wide receiver Kyle Parker. I mean, it's just, I mean, when you look at the list, how can you not get excited? How can you
Yeah.
not look at that and kind of go, darn? I mean, it's one thing if you added 4 or 5 guys, but you're adding 10, 12, 13, 14 guys, potentially impact guys. That's even before I get to the specialists. I mean, that's so exciting because it's so many guys. It's so many. I know we're sad about the people that we lost, but when you
Yeah.
look at the snaps lost or yards lost or production lost versus what we've gained, it's just exponentially better. And now maybe those Ohio State guys will go on and be great, other places, I'm sure that some of them will. But we're getting some proven guys, some guys that have started big games, played big games other places, and I cannot wait to see what they do because I think the impact of portal guys will be greater this year than any year ever at Ohio State, including 2024, just because there's so many of them. And I
Yeah.
think that's really going to be the story of the 2026 season is how good are the portal guys. That I think that'll ultimately tell the tale on how far this team goes.
No, that's good. That is good. And this is why it's number 3, y'all, because again, these are, you can debate interchangeable, but to me, next to the Arthur Smith outcry from a lot of the fan base when he first got hired, although that's starting to calm down and people are getting their senses about them, the portal situation about it, that was the other sky is falling. Oh, we're terrible. This is awful. We're penny pinching. We're losing everybody. We're all going to die. It was just bad, the reactions. So the portal players and them stepping up and them coming in and doing what they need to do and all that stuff is going to be something to watch for sure. Because again, even for those who didn't cry, all like about that and we're trying to be sensible throughout, um, it's like we still want to see these guys come in and make an early impression. And so, yeah, a lot of new faces. I mean, it's one thing to lose some key players on the defense, but it's another thing to have a bunch of new faces come in that you really don't know about outside of watching highlights. And that's the thing. I get it. It's emotional. There's a connection. We've watched people who follow recruiting like we do. We watched Aaron Scott Jr., you know, uh, announced for Ohio State after faking out Michigan with the bag. And we've watched, Quincy Porter turn down Michigan. And you know what I'm saying? Like there's a connection there. And we were hoping to see the fruit, to reap the harvest. But because of the NIL era and the transfer portal era, it's not going to happen. So now we got some new guys in here, like Nevada said, more experience, more reps, all of that, more proven players, and that's just it. So I'm looking forward to it, Nevada.
Well, but look, I think this is a storyline. This is going to it's going to spill into number two on our list here. But
Okay.
look at that list and kind of go, okay, you look at, you're adding linebackers and you're adding safeties and you're adding tight ends and defensive tackles and cornerbacks and running backs and wide receivers and kickers and this and that. But with the exception of Vashawn Washington, from Dartmouth, what's notably absent from all of these players that we added to Ohio State is offensive linemen. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So for a position where everybody's screaming, five-alarm fire, five-alarm fire, somehow, some way, and we're saying no, we don't see it. We don't see the five-alarm fire on the offensive line. We're not, we think we got. Ohio State didn't go out and add four guys in the offensive line. You know what I'm saying? They added one guy from Dartmouth, who had Ohio ties, and we're not really even sure, what that's about or where that'll go or whatever. And hopefully he's great, but the expectations aren't particularly high, and he wasn't a particularly expensive thing. But isn't that interesting that for a position that the people are most concerned about, that Ohio State seemingly either forgot that they needed guys on the offensive line or whatever it was, but we didn't add guys on the offensive line. B. So what do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, I make it that the staff is much higher on the players on their roster than they are of guys in the portal.
Bingo.
I mean, it's that simple. And again, I'll just reiterate. I'll quickly reiterate what I've already said about this. And this is why I say, listen, if you guys that like to talk on social media and post and hit send and leave long comments and be strong about your opinion, I'm just asking you to inform yourself. It's everybody has their opinion, but what I try to do, I try to inform myself as much as possible before I talk about something, because I want to understand, the full picture. With that said, rewatch the games. For those of you, go back and watch the Indiana Miami games. Look at the offensive line. Look at all the plays. There's some good, there's some bad. The bad plays, because we lost, stick out the most. Let's just be honest. But again, there's still some really good players on this offensive line who have helped win a natty on this offensive line, who looked good in the second half against Miami on this offensive line, who looked good against Indiana in spots. It's like there's a bunch of seniors and juniors and experienced guys coming back. And so what do? Do you throw those guys out and just go get some guys who may not be better in the portal just because the fans want guys in the portal? Nevada, people was hitting my inbox up. Where's the O lineman? Or on my page thread, oh, this is a kicker. This is nice. Or this linebacker's nice, but what about the O lineman? I mean, over and over and over again. I'm just like, geez Louise, man. But long rant to say the staff believes this O-line can be good. Arthur Smith, who is an ex-O lineman and a former head coach and a great football coach with a great mind, is going to come in here. He's a proven run game savant. He's going to make sure these guys, these experienced guys, are going to be nice and tight and be physical and all of that. And what has Nevada and I have, mainly Nevada, I would say, leading the charge, talked about with some of the issues with the O-line scheme, the little things from a snap count to just the scheme to help your guys out and what they do best. So long rant, but wanted to say that, Nevada. Go ahead, brother.
Well, I just harken back to 2024, and people are fair. They'll remember that during the offseason 2024, people were complaining about the offensive line like crazy. I mean, that was the hottest topic: the offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. And that year, we lost Josh Simmons at left tackle. We
Yep.
lost Seth McLaughlin at center, and we lost Zen Mikulski, the replacement left tackle. And we went on to win the national championship. So, you at some point, people have to realize, okay, I was spectacularly wrong. I mean, to lose three starters on the
Yeah.
offensive line, like there would be teams that would not be able to function, just not even to be able to
Exactly.
run if you lost three
Right.
starters on the offensive line. And that includes most of the teams that we play against. If they lost three starters on the offensive line, especially two, Seth McLaughlin, the Remington Award winner, and Josh Simmons, the starting left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, and we go on to win the national championship, resoundingly by double digits in every game. So they were wrong in 24 and 24. In 2026, I'm telling you, you're equally wrong if you're concerned about the offensive line. You just are. And the fact that Ohio State seemingly just forgot about the fact that they've got huge holes on the offensive line. I mean, spoiler, they didn't. We're returning 100 plus starts on the offensive line. We've got fourth and fifth year guys all over the place on the offensive line, incredibly veteran group. And I'm really excited to see what they do in the spring, and how they kind of attack spring ball, because I just don't think they put them in good spots at the end of the year. I think that I think our coordination with Brian Hartline as first time coordinator, he went from a first time coordinator to a distraction at the end of the year, and I just think the offense never gelled as a result, and I think it was a mistake and then a forced error, and I think it unfortunately left some people with a sour taste in their mouth. But offensive line in 2026, super excited to see them. Absolutely believe that they will be a team strength, and I'm willing to die on that hill for the season. And hold me to that. If they're not, you guys can come in on here, and we'll have whole entire pods laughing at Nevada for having trust in the offensive line. But I'm not wrong on this one. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm definitely riding with you on that. And real quickly, remember when we talk about the fan base with bad takes. Remember the cluster of the fans who were just, oh my God, McLaughlin, why would you pick him up because of his bad game against Alabama? I'm sorry, at Alabama against the team up north where had the bad snaps. But remember, Nick Saban came out and admitted that it might not have been on McLaughlin, but
Yeah,
the
that was
quarter.
on, it was on Milrow. It was on
Yes.
Milrow.
It-
Exactly.
yep. Yep.
Milrow was blowing the snap count, and that caused them to hesitate in terms
Right.
of doing it. And now Milrow's, I don't know, it's not like Milrow's gone on to NFL fame and fortune or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. So I wanted to bring that back out because again, listen, we could literally, Nevada, if we wanted to be petty enough, we could do like a show on all-time bad takes from our fan base and just line them up and just show you how goofy you were and are. You know what I'm saying? And then some of them they just act like they never said it or they just whatever.
Oh, and then they get
Um,
mad. Why are you bringing that up?
right, right,
Why Nevada?
exactly.
It's like, dude, because I had to listen to it 1,000 times from
Thank
you
you.
about,
Exactly.
about that stuff. And, you don't feel like circling back. But and I'm just trying to prevent history from repeating itself. Offensive line takes from 2024. I'm just bringing them out to show you, hey, maybe the 2026 stuff in the O line. I'm telling you, I know people believe that we gave up 100 sacks in the last two games. The offensive line should be gutted. I like our offensive line. I like our offensive line. I like the guys I think we have lots and lots and lots of options to play with. And I absolutely believe we're going to win the national championship in 2026. And it's going to be mainly on the strength of our offensive line.
Amen. You heard it here. And Mark Swick, you are wrong, sir. I am looking at the chat and you guys are clowning. I'm keeping a straight face. I'm not busting out laughing. We're gonna get to it though. But y'all are some fools in this chat. If you haven't jumped in the chat before, y'all jump in the chat. They have a lot of fun. Anyway, Nevada, we got the number one. Number one. Let's get to it. What's your thoughts on the number one? Introduce it to the people.
The impact of Arthur Smith, and that goes about a number that that could go across the offensive line, that could go across Julian Sand, that could go across the things the running backs. But look, you've got a brand new coordinator. Last year we were breaking in two new coordinators, but now you've got Arthur Smith coming in, and for the first time in school history, we've got two ex NFL head coaches as the coordinators on Ohio State. Arthur Smith coming in, to bring a toughness to the Ohio State attack, to a suddenness to the running game. and basically bringing a pro style approach to the Ohio State offense. And I think it's going to be great. I think the differences are going to be readily apparent to everybody who's going to be watching. And I just can't wait to see what it is where you've got a full blown adult in the room. Because as excited as I was about Chip Kelly and stuff, and I think uh, prior to Arthur Smith coming here, I believe Chip Kelly was the finest offensive coordinator ever to be at Ohio State. I think Arthur Smith will be in that type of conversation when he's done. I think Arthur Smith is a serious guy. He's a credentialed guy. He's a guy that Ryan Day absolutely listens to. And I think the difference between having him there and a Brian Hartline on training wheels last year, I think will be readily apparent. And again, the number one storyline of the spring to me is going to be the Arthur Smith impact, not only in the Ohio State offense, not only in Julian, but on the entire Ohio State team. I can't wait to see it.
Yep. I mean, shoot, I might as well just say ditto, because everything you said is how I feel. And honestly, again, just like the outcry of the portal, oh, we lost all these guys and we were penny pinching and man, I've had people argue with me, Nevada, about basically still being salty that they feel the guys we brought in, they rather have the guys we lost than the guys we brought in. And so, listen, I would have loved to keep some of the guys that we've followed in their young career, but that's just not reality at this point. So the reality is that in the portal, when guys leave, you go out and get value from experience, reps, and all the other stuff that fits your system, your culture. I feel like we nailed that with a lot of these kids. So I'm excited. Yeah, it was sad to see some guys go, but I'm excited about what we brought in. So just like that, Arthur Smith. Well, basically, what I was going to say is the portal guys have to prove themselves, and I believe they will, and they'll prove the haters wrong. Arthur Smith, I believe, is going to absolutely prove the haters wrong and win them over, because I think the hate, or the how can I put it, the lack of, or the hesitation of believing, is rooted in a misconception. It's a faulty, illogical foundation that some of these fans are kind of rooting their Arthur Smith hesitation in. Again, it's not to say that you got to just 1,000 believe he's going to be the greatest thing ever. I'm talking about the folks who are just absolutely poo-pooing. This is terrible. This is not going to work. Oh my God, this is awful. Those folks. And I think he's going to absolutely cook here with Ryan Day and this personnel, man. And I'm excited. I'm excited. And we're going to start seeing the impact in the spring, Nevada.
Well, I want to address your one thing about like would rather have had the kids that were there before, but that wasn't an option. It wasn't an option. It'd be like you going, I wish I had that, the Pikachu illustrator card that Logan Paul just sold, or Jake Paul, whatever, for 16
Right.
million, and I want this Babe Ruth card for 5 million. I want this. You can't have them all. It literally was economic. Ohio State wanted to keep those guys. They were too expensive. So, you know, it's you're rooting for something that was just never an option. It's not like Ohio State chose to have these kids over the ones that they were here before. It was they had to make, as you said, you had to make value judgments. You had to put a value on each one of the kids, and if somebody else was willing to pay them three times more, you had to let them go. And it's sad, and we hate it because, like you said, we all have made these connections, whether real or imagined or whatever it is, to these kids as they're going through it. But Ohio State wanted to keep them too, just couldn't do it. And what you hope is that you've upgraded by getting, kids that are of value, kids that really want to be here, kids with something to prove. And I think Ohio State did just that. And that's, again, another one of the reasons why I'm so excited about spring football for Ohio State.
Yep. So am I, man. So am I. And just the overall backdrop of once again, the fans just unnecessarily doubting the program. And I'm saying that because there's been a few stats that have come out on Twitter and social media. One of them is like Ohio State's number 2 behind Alabama with the most number 1 appearances in the AP poll. Josh Pate just did a video talking about Ohio State's the best program in the country the past 3 years. I believe he said the past 3 years. And you got people on social media spazzing out about that. Oh my God, they lost to Miami. He's talking about program. Program. He didn't say the best team in 2026. He said program. And then just other things that just kind of remind you of the consistency and greatness of this program to not fall off, to keep proving the haters wrong, even if it's in their own fan base. So, with that said, let me bring it around. Am I saying next year is going to be a cakewalk? No, we got a tough schedule. We lost some guys. We're bringing some new guys in, but we brought in some awesome coaches, and we brought in some seasoned, experienced, talented players, and we got some guys coming back like Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith, who are still young, who are also going to take another step. And I can keep going and on and on and on. We're going to still be really, really good next year, y'all. And so I'm excited. You should be too. Anything before we get to these these super chats, Nevada?
No, just I mean, look, this is going to be an incredible year. Just challenging, incredibly challenging schedule. Great players, credentialed coaches, and just a crazy influx of talent from other schools. And it's going to be about how Ryan Day puts all the pieces together and kind of the mosaic. So yeah, lots to look forward to for 2026. And I'm like I said, I cannot wait for the fact that spring football actually starts here in 3 weeks is crazy. And let's get it
Yeah,
on.
let's get it on. Stilly Matt, thanks for the 199. Billy D. Doppler in Capitol Park, Nevada. Welcome. I like it. A new wrinkle with every trip you take, Nevada.
I'm telling you, Capital go to Washington if you haven't been. I'm telling you, it's pretty crazy. You just really get a sense for the history of the country and just cool things like I went to the Air and Space Museum and they have like the original plane that Wilbur and Orville Wright flew for the first time.
Oh,
Like the plane, like the thing, which is like so cool. And
yeah.
here's a little trivia question: do you know those guys owned a patent on flight? Like they owned the patent on flight, and other people tried to
How?
fly plane. Well, they patented the process for flying, and they
Uh-huh.
actually won all their lawsuits, and they would actually literally own flight right now, except World War I happened, so the government nationalized the patent for flight, and it was able to grant to other people. That's the
Wow.
other thing. Otherwise, they would own flight. Isn't that
I did
a little
not
crazy?
know that. That is a
Yeah,
crazy fun fact.
yeah.
I mean, an amazing move too back then. I mean, I guess if you thought about it, that's not something that would be sustainable. I mean, that just like you just said. I mean, gotta fly. But imagine they would be the filthiest, richest family
Exactly.
ever,
Yeah,
literally ever. But that's crazy. Good stuff. I just learned something new,
there you go.
and I got to get to DC, and I will. Mike Green, what's up, brother? Like I said, we missed you, man. I know you said you've been watching, but haven't chatted. All good, but we appreciate you here. Thanks for the 199. I'm very excited about Tavion taking the next step. Me too. And so I was going to mention that earlier, kind of forgot when we were talking about saying him running and being afraid of getting hurt. In the past, there's been some times where, hey, who's the kid behind Justin Fields or who's behind CJ Stroud? Well, we got a pretty good one behind Julian Sayin going into his third year. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. I was impressed with Tavion in practice last year. I mean, he looks the part. He has all the tools. He just needs to continue to progress. And so I'm excited to see him get into games and blowouts and stuff like that. But God forbid if Junior Sand gets nicked up and he has to step in for a quarter, I think he's going to be able to do that. Nevada, what you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's always the thing with any player now that's not playing and it's kind of like a development piece for the future. You just kind of wonder, will his time come? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Will Ohio State go to the portal and add somebody? Oh, will it add a veteran quarterback, or will we ever get to see him? So yeah, I mean, Tavian St. Clair is going to really have his chance to really make a mark this spring. That's not only about 2026, but it's about the future. It's going to make a statement to Ryan Day and Arthur Smith. hey, do you have your quarterback of the future, or do you need to go out next year and get a fourth or fifth year starter from somebody else? So I think this spring's going to be absolutely huge for Tavion, and we're going to get a front row for it.
Yep, definitely. Absolutely. Mike Green, thanks for the 199. This was what I had to restrain myself from laughing at. Sorry, B. I just came back from the Team Up North locker room 420. If
Oh
you
my gosh.
know, you know. But
Well,
yeah, that and listen, Nevada, we were laughing about the reactions about the breaking news of the locker room, hot boxing from the Michigan players, and just I mean it was hilarious, just all over the board. The responses, the haters, just seething. This is nothing. This is not news, and it's just weed, and all the other crying and all the other stuff. It was hilarious, but great comment from Mike Green. You're coming back to the chats in style, sir. What you got on that, Nevada?
Well, yeah, again, for that little Oompa Loompa that was talking about it's not breaking news, or dude, they were smoking it in the locker room, guy. And not the thing. I know weed's legal in Michigan. They're under 21. They're hot boxing in the locker room. That's the story there, buddy. Not that college kids smoke weed. So it's going to be really interesting to see the impact on this and other breaking Michigan stories that could be breaking at any minute. Not to
Yeah,
spoil anything, but we're all kind of bracing for
yeah.
the next big drop, and that could happen at any time.
Yep, and I kind of tipped y'all off. It's funny, Nevada. Did you get a call from? Did you get a missed call from Spiro a couple of days ago?
I
Um,
I, I
he's
did I did not. I did not,
he
but I
said he
got a
called you.
text.
Okay,
I
text. Okay,
I got a text.
okay, because he randomly hit me up. I believe it was Friday. It was Friday, and he was telling me about what was coming. And so, and obviously, all the details and whatnot. But yep, any day now it can drop. I'm looking forward to it. Great stuff. And yeah, and just to kind of circle back to that, yeah, it's the Michigan fans. I mean, honestly, the whole downplay and the weed thing, that was the go-to from a lot of people, the Michigan fans. But I was just reminding people it's not just about the weed. It's not. Stop being intellectually dishonest. It was not a good look, but hey, whatever. They're going to continue to make excuses for Michigan, and it is what it is. We can move on. All right, Stilly Matt, thanks for the 199. Y'all really are massively hilarious. Yeah, man, the chat is just crazy. And again, there's been times I've had to restrain myself, like today, from busting out laughing while Nevada is, waxing eloquent about a position because y'all some fools in this chat, man. Hilarious, Nevada.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not distracted by their hilarity when they're because I'm not reading what's going on, but I can sometimes read by your face. I can see that you're you're enjoying some of the wonderment that is the Buckeye Scoop chat.
Oh man, yeah, it's good stuff. So yeah, I try to keep my eyes on the chat, when I can to keep up with what's going on, just because it's entertaining. So it's almost like if I would be in the chat if I wasn't doing the show. So I try to be in the chat and do the show sometimes because it's just so fun. All right, Mike Green, thanks for the 199. Now I think what you're saying, it says last Tavion auntie is a smoke show, Holly Berry. Okay, so are you saying that Tavion's aunt is she bad like Holly Berry is bad, or his aunt is literally Holly Berry? I don't know. You got to clarify that for me. I don't know. I never seen his auntie before. Clarify that for me, Nevada, or if you can.
Yeah, I have not heard that. I mean, that would be quite the something. That'd be quite the
Yeah,
something. Either
yeah,
way, that's still pretty good. If you're being compared to Holly Berry, that's and if you are Holly Berry, then it's like really really cool.
yeah.
I
That's
like
even better.
that I like TSC even more now.
Now, because here's the thing: Holly Berry's from Cleveland. She's from
This is
Cleveland.
all coming. This is all coming together, man. This
She's
is
from
all coming together.
Ohio. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's possible. But if she is, I need well look, you got some fans out there like NIL, get her on the phone with Ryan Day. Get that Holly Berry NIL money cracking off. Hilarious. All right, let me stop. Mike Green, once again, thanks for the 4.99. Hey, Unc, did you know the Wright brothers was in the team up north locker room too? The new How High Can You Go program. That's just too easy. Too easy. Just
Uh,
just teed it right up, Nevada.
yeah. Fly the friendly skies up there, up there in Ann Arbor. And guys, you got to understand. Like when that post came out, we when that story came out and Funky broke that story, which is crazy that Funky got that. But
Yeah.
that post got millions of engagements on
Yeah.
our site, like million. And for you guys to understand orders of magnitude, like tens of thousands is big, hundreds of thousands is massively massive, millions is like the biggest story that we've ever done. So like this story has literally become one of the biggest stories we've ever done. So people are like, it's not a story. It's not. Oh, well, the world thinks it's a story, and social media engagement says a story. So we're proud of the reporting there, Funky. Go, Funky. Go dig up some more hot box. Now, do we ever determine if that AI generated apology for Bryce Underwood was that real or was that fake? That
No,
had to
that
be
was fake.
fake, right?
That was
Okay,
fake.
but
And that's what
but
we
it
were.
was funny.
It
But
was
it was
funny.
funny.
It was
Yeah.
definitely funny. And we were talking about on the show yesterday how when something goes viral, it takes a life of its own. Shoot, listen, I've remixed viral stuff. I've made memes off of viral stuff to add to it. And so that's what happens when it's really popping. And you had the AI, you had a couple of AI generated apologies. You had somebody talking about there's an investigation open up about this trolling.
Yeah.
That's what happens. And like Dev said, oh, Buckeye Scoop, they're such liars. This is not true. Well, we didn't say that. That was that guy. Like, are you slow? It's called a retweet, a quoted retweet. Anyway, so yeah, I was looking at Intrinsic, who follows all these impressions in our chat, and he gave me an update. I'm trying to get back to the comment where he updated me on the impressions because he's been keeping track. And it might be even more than what you just said now. I'll find the post later. But it was a lot.
But it was
Millions.
millions, right? Like I'm not exaggerating. It was
No,
millions of
you're
impressions.
not exaggerating because again, it's not just Twitter. It's and what we how we measure it partly is the even the size of the accounts that are sharing it. So like on Facebook, I'm thick on Facebook, multiple 300,000, 500,000, 700,000 follower accounts were posting this. TikTok, uh, Funky had a guy show him like, hey, look at this big account on TikTok. It's going viral on TikTok. It's literally gone viral on every platform, but it's a non-story.
Yeah.
It's a story,
I love it.
and
I love it.
people want it. They were interested in it. You can laugh at it. You can play it down. It's just it don't matter. The notion that it wasn't a breaking story is hilarious. But anyway, I rest my case. All right. Here we go. Here we go. We got one last super chat from Stilly Matt. Thanks for the 199. Much love to brothers Dennis Moore and Bradley D. Yes. Yes. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all. And listen, all the Scoop family, man. We got mad love for y'all and appreciation for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do y'all's thing in the chat. You do y'all's thing everywhere. You're great people. We love you and we appreciate you. You got anything on that, Nevada?
No, we really do, and we appreciate you guys showing up. You guys, we said it a million times, but you guys are the show. You guys make the show. Otherwise, this is just me and B babbling at each other. And so we're just so happy you guys came and spent the evening with us, and we really, from the bottom of our heart, appreciate it.
Definitely do. And before we close out, real quick, Nevada, I wanted to tell you something. Remember, I had my son had his party a couple weeks ago, and I had all the kids over, all his buddies,
Yep.
9 and 10-year-old, and they were playing our PlayStation 5, right? They playing College Football 26, and one of the kids, let me tell you, he came to me and said, "What is this?" And I said, "It's a Nintendo controller." A what? I had to explain to him. For those who don't know, like I bought this years ago.
Oh
This
wow.
little NES Classic Edition has 30 games loaded up on it. Mario Brothers, Auto Mario Brothers, Zelda, Tecmo Bowl, Punch Out, um, uh, Excite Bike. This all stuff like that. I pull it out every now and then when I'm feeling nostalgic. It's just to have, but I was like, man, I am really old now. I had to explain what this was, and I just it hit my soul, Nevada. I wanted to tell you that before we close out.
Yeah, no, I mean that's yeah, no, time moves on, man, and you're not the young spry guy that you once were. That
Yeah.
you're kind of the veteran, you're kind of the graybeard of the
Yeah.
show, and that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. The
you're
Grizzly
still
vet.
very handsome. I was going to tell you,
Thank you.
very handsome guy, very
Thank you.
handsome.
Billy D. Moses, baby. I'll take it.
Billy D.
I'll take
Smooth, smooth.
smooth, baby. All right. And I'll give y'all one last massive, massive, massive before we bang out of here. Listen, we appreciate y'all. Per usual, always good to rock with y'all. Until next time, Buckeye Scoop family, Buckeye Nation. We'll see you next time. Go Bucks. Peace.